Hello, everybody. Welcome to another amazing episode of Use Connect. I'm Aiden.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kevin.
I'm Logan.
I'm Jeffrey.
And welcome to our Youth Connect. Hello, guys. Welcome to another happy Friday, which means that once Friday rolls around, we got to have you guessed it, we got to have our Youth Connect. Now, for those who don't know, what in the world is Youth Connect? Youth Connect is a news, interest, entertainment show that is more than just sharing stories. We are working at creating a platform of inclusion and acceptance, one episode at a time. Today, it will be me, Logan, Jeff, and Kevin. So I hope that you guys are excited for this awesome episode. If you guys know, with Youth Connect, we have a whole bunch of news. We got cooking knowledge, we got world news, we got interesting facts, we got live music. But out of all of the choices that I just listed right now, the first thing that we always have to do is our video game news. All right, guys. So I hope you guys like cats, because for today's game of the week, and for those who don't know what in the world is game of the week, is a game that is either has come out recently, an old classic, or a game that's coming out soon. And today, this is a game that's actually on a trilogy series, and I have heard that it is actually really, really good. So if you ever have the time, I recommend checking it out, because apparently a lot of people are fanning over it. It's apparently a very amazing game. Anyways, today's game of the week is Cat Quest 3. So get ready for the cat puns. I've wrote a lot. Get whiskered away in a hearty cat venture in Cat Quest 3, the third installment of the award-winning Cat Quest series. I played Quest 1 when I was a little bit younger, but even to this day, when I am so much older, there is a third in the series. So play as a swashbuckling privateer in this 2.5, not 3D, but 2.5D open world action RPG set in a fantastical pirate-themed world, the Caribbean. Haha! Look at all the jokes. There's so many. There are a bunch of evil creatures, such as a swarm of pirates searching for the Northern Star, a long-lost mythical treasure. Alongside your trusty spirit companion, you must set sail through the Caribbean in your very own ship. But beware, the seas are dangerous, as a Meow Tiny is hot nigh as the hordes of pirates under the order of the Pirate King hunt you down. So this game is either playable in either solo or local co-op. And for the first time in this series, you can set the sails and battle in your very own ship, as we said before. So you can explore on land and explore the seas. There is no place that the cats can't go. And you will be embarking on your very own treasure hunt and craft your own story with complete freedom. You get to choose to explore the deepest corners of the Caribbean at your leisure, or say ahoy to a quirky cast of characters and aid them in their quests along the way, in any order. There is no right or wrong way of doing it. The meowsteries of the Northern Star reach far and wide, and it's up to you to investigate, gather clues, and uncover many secrets of the Caribbean. This tale is yours to make. So weigh anchor and let's go. I have heard that this game gets a 9 out of 10 stars. It is a really good RPG game if you have the time. It is a affordable RPG game. It's very short, very fun though, and it is very, very interesting. So I recommend that you check out Cat Quest 3. It actually looks like a lot of fun, and I think I might need to check out Cat Quest 2, and then I'll check out Cat Quest 3, because I haven't even beaten Cat Quest 1. So obviously there must be something interesting in this series. Anyways, though, please check out Cat Quest 3, located on PlayStation, Xbox, Switch, and PC. And next up, we're going to be having Kevin with some all important news, but more importantly, that interesting fact that he's going to be sharing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Youth Connect News. I'm your host, Kevin Aruja. Let's get right into the headlines. The Ontario Developer Coalition asks governments for tax breaks to pass on to home buyers. The Wonderland to launch tallest and fastest new roller coaster in 2025. The 3-year project to fix Richmond exit ramp for DVP and surrounding bridges begins. And Canada's Schuyler Park takes the long road to Taekwondo bronze at Olympic Games. A coalition of Ontario developers has written to 3 levels of government to ask for a reduction in taxes on new housing. It says it will pass on those saving dollars to home buyers. The new group, called the Coalition Against New Home Taxes, or CANT, is composed of 18 developers who collectively plan to build 100,000 new housing units over the next 10 years. The coalition wants to see federal and provincial governments remove the harmonized sale tax on all new housing, as they have done for rental housing constructions. It will also like the province and the city of Toronto to eliminate the land transfer tax on the new construction homes. The coalition would also like to see municipalities reduce development charges to 2009 rates adjusted for inflation. The group includes Altera, Harlow Capital, and Stafford Developments, among others. In 2009, taxes accounted for about 12% of the cost of our average condominium in Toronto. The group has said now taxes account for about 29% for the same home. Development charges alone are up for 1,200% over the past 15 years, they say. Municipalities across Ontario are not sold on the proposal for the developers group if it means reducing development charges. The province passed a law in 2022 that cut development charges developers had to pay municipalities for infrastructure such as roads, sewer, and water. The Association of Municipalities of Ontario estimated the changes would leave municipalities with a $10 billion hole over 10 years. The province later walked away from many of those changes back, but the association says they still represent a $2 billion hole over the same time frame. The country's longest, tallest, and fastest roller coaster will officially open to the public in 2025 in Canada's Wonderland. The amusement park announced the launch of its new Alpine Fury ride on Thursday in a news release. Alpine Fury is going to be a very unique ride because for a launch coaster, it's going to be the longest, fastest, and tallest in Canada. Grace Peacock, the park's communications director, told CB24 on Thursday. This is just for the wild ride. People are going to be able to see it from all areas of the park. It spans almost all the way to front gate and back. The roller coaster is expected to feature 2 launches, one that propels Quest into the depths of Wonder Mountain, and a second that will blast riders 50 meters high at the top. Riders will then race along 1,000 meters of the track, twisting and flipping through 9 inversions, the new release has stated, adding that the number of inversions in the most in North America for a launch coaster. Top speed is going to be 115 kilometers an hour, so you are going to be hold on very tight, Peacock said. The entire project will take 14 months to complete. A new 3-year construction project aimed at rehabilitating key bridges and ramps in downtown Toronto's East End is giving drivers trying to get around the city more causes for concern. Work began on Tuesday to fix 3 bridges and a ramp, including a Richmond Street exit from a Don Valley Parkway. The work also includes the Eastern Avenue Bridge as well as the Richmond Street and Adelaide Street bridges, which run over King Street East. The work is being carried out in multiple stages, all of which will include lane restrictions. For the first stage, which begins this week, Lane restrictions will be in place for eastbound lanes on Adelaide Street and Eastern Avenue. These those restrictions will last until December. The city says there will be also be traffic restrictions to St. Lawrence Street and Lower River Street for the rest of the year. Speaking in an unrelated event about revamping Asian community centers Tuesday morning, the mayor Olivia Chow said she realized work may be disruptive to drivers, but it's necessary. The city state the city said that at least one lane on Eastern Avenue, Richmond Street East and Adelaide Street East will remain open in each direction throughout construction. However, work on the Richmond's exit from a Don Valley Parkway will require a full closure for around 5 months. The closure has been scheduled for the last half of construction, the city says. Further details about the closure of the major off ramp will be provided in the future. The TTC service is expected to operate as normal throughout construction, though bike lanes and Lower River Street will be closed intermittently through the project between the hours of 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The city says that the cyclists will need to merge with vehicular traffic during those hours. Localized sidewalk detours will also be in effect for pedestrians. Drivers trying to move around the city and have been hampered by major lane restrictions on the stretch of the Gardner Expressway between Dufferin Street and Strachan Avenue. That work began in April and was also expected to take 3 years. But the city recently announced that with financial help from the province, the work will be sped up so that it is completed by April 2026. In sports news, spurred by a bit of luck, Skylar Park went to the distance to reach the Olympic podium in Paris. Park defeated Lebanon's Letitia Aoun with a score of 2 out of 0 for a bronze medal in women's taekwondo Thursday evening, almost 12 hours after her first match of the day and long after her 5:40 a.m. alarm. The 25-year-old from Winnipeg alluded to an injury she was reluctant to discuss, saying 8 months ago, "I didn't know if I were well enough to be here and competing." Park, who fights the 57-kilogram division, won her morning about 2 out of 0 over Dominika Horonova of Czechia before dropping her afternoon quarterfinals with 2 out of 0 to Kim Yoo-jin of South Korea. The Canadian the Canadian needed Kim to win her semifinal to get into repechage match and still have a chance to compete for a medal. The four-seeded Park defeated on Turkey's Hatice Kubra Ilican with a score of 2 out of 0 in the repechage to reach one of the two bronze medal matches in Olympic Taekwondo, and then won her second straight match to ascend the podium. Park is the third Canadian to win a Taekwondo medal at Olympic Games, following Dominique Boshart bronze in 2000 and Karine Zaragay silver in 2008. Kim defeated Iran's Nahid Kianichende with a score of 2 out of 0 for the gold medal. Bulgaria's Alisadeh Kimia beat China's Luo with a score of 2 out of 1 in the other bronze medal match. By the time Park attended the medalist press conference on Thursday night, it was at hour 17 for her at the Grand Palace. In today's weather forecast, we've got a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. The temperature is now 27 degrees. And tomorrow we will get mainly sunny. The temperature will be 23 degrees. And now moving forward to an interesting fact, I'm going to talk about turtles. Yes, my favorite sea animal. You know, in our cartoons, Ninja Turtles and other stuff, but this is actual turtles. So the turtles are reptiles of the order Testudines, characterized by a special shell developed mainly from their ribs. Modern turtles are divided into two major groups, the Pleurodira and Cryptodira, which differ in the way the head retracts. They are 360 living and recently extinct species of turtles, including land-dwelling tortoise and freshwater terrapins. They are found on most continents, some islands, and in the case of sea turtles, much of the ocean, like Other ammonioids, they breathe air and do not lay eggs on the water, although many species live in or around water. So I have a sixth interesting fact about turtles. Turtles are Turtles and tortoise are not the same. Yes, all tortoise are technically turtles, although not all turtles are tortoise. The biggest difference is tortoise are terrestrial, spending the majority of the time on land. Turtles, on the other hand, prefer water. Tortoise has also looked a little different. They have thicker back legs and a more rounded shell than a turtle. Besides, because of their need to swim, have webbed feet and thinner legs. The second fact is turtles have been around for over 200 million years. Yes, the earliest known turtle to have a fully formed hard shell lived about 210 million years ago. However, remains of a primitive turtle dating back even further were found in China in 2008. The species has expanded to include hundreds of varieties. The third fact is a turtle's diet is flexible. What a turtle eats is largely influenced by what's available where they live. Many will eat insects and small fish. Others love to munch on small crustaceans. Crustaceans? Yeah. They also eat aquatic plants. Tortoises are herbivores who only eat fruits and vegetables. So fourth fact is the oldest turtle ever is currently believed to be 189 years old. Jonathan Seychelles giant tortoise who lives on the Saint Helena Highland in the Seychelles Islands is believed to be the oldest tortoise ever. He recently surpassed a 188-year-old tortoise for the title. The fifth fact is turtles don't have visible ears. Although they don't have visible ears, turtles aren't deaf. They have internal ear bones that can pick up vibrations and other low frequency sounds around them. Furthermore, they can even get painful ear infections in poor sanitary conditions or if they have nutrient deficiencies. And the last fact is turtles live on every continent except Antarctica. Because they live both on land and in water and adapt their diet to their habitat, turtles can be found all over the world. The only continent turtles don't inhabit is Antarctica. So now we come to the end of my segment. Tune in for next week's news, weather, and a very interesting fact. I'm sending it back to Aiden. See you next Friday.
Interesting fact. I do love sea turtles, and I think they're absolutely amazing. If you guys have ever seen sea turtles, one of their main diets is actually jellyfish. How amazing is that? Now, that always makes me want to think, man, I wish I could eat a jellyfish. But if you can't eat jellyfish because, youch, they are very, very, very electric, especially how it feels. Well, more likely it's a poison. But actually, I will ask everyone else. Of course, I know Kevin loves sea turtles or tortoise or whatever you want to call them. What about you, Jeff, and you, Logan? Do you guys like the turtles, sea turtles to be specific, since that's what's behind Kevin?
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
I agree. I think it's interesting as well. What about you, Logan? Do you think you have a love for sea turtles?
Well, I don't hate them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I definitely love turtles, and I think my dad is a big fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So definitely in a turtle loving family. And if you guys want to write in the comments down below, do you guys like turtles? Are you a big turtle fan? Let us know. All right, time to move on to your second gaming news. And actually, it's a mix of entertainment and gaming news. But right now, it's gaming news. So there was a game released about 2 years ago called High on Life. And this game was created by the creators of Rick and Morty. This raunchy cartoon sci-fi shooter was developed by Squanch Games, a studio founded by Rick and Morty creator Justin Roiland, and told the story of a person finding some weird talking alien guns and defeating an evil empire. And Smooth provided the voice of one of the talking guns. But on August 5th, somebody's reported that Smooth's alternate side productions, which the actor formed last year, is one of the companies involved in making the animated High on Life show, along Smooth, Russell Binder, and Mandy Bardisbanian. Oh my goodness, that's a big last name. From Striker Entertainment will serve as producers. Alec Robbins, the narrative director of High on Life, is also working on the show. So it is said that Squanch Games has invited me to join them in the gaming universe, and now I'm helping them move to the TV world. It's a case of game recognizing game, said Smooth. So apparently there is going to be a High on Life TV show. Not only that, it's apparently going to be very interesting. Now, and if you guys have never played High on Life, let's just remind yourself this is not a kid's game. This is an adult game. But High on Life is weird. It's wild, and it's definitely a lot of fun. And the series, I bet you, is going to be so interesting. I am excited to see this because you know what? The characters from the game were very memorable. So it's going to be interesting to see how the characters are going to be developed from a video game to a TV series. Hopefully, we get an interesting series. If you guys know, well, after some allegations, Justin Roiland actually left Squanch Games after he was facing 2 counts of felony domestic abuse and was also fired from Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites. But the show has not been canceled, and they are already finding alternatives for the voice. The reason why we talk about this, guys, is that this is world news. This is information that in the entertainment world, Rick and Morty, a lot of people were upset about the voice change because obviously he was the main voice for the 2 characters, and having a change is not that fun for a lot of people. But it's very important that we remind ourselves that we are okay with changes. We are okay with changes. So thankfully in March 2023, it is going to have new voice actors, and it's apparently going to be interesting. There's no word of a release date or platform for the newly announced show. It's also not confirmed yet if Smooth will have an acting role, though reports have said that it's likely that he'll provide his voice to the animated series. It's quite shocking to hear this, and it was a big news for Rick and Morty fans. And you know what? For video games, I didn't mind High on Life. It was a bit weird, but I mean, a voice actor, developed a game who's most likely doing comedy and stuff. A comedian writing a video game that was an FPS shooter. I gotta say, it was unique and it was fun for its time, and it was definitely interesting. Anyways, I'm going to keep it moving because I don't want to bore you any longer. Next up, we're going to be having Logan, our online chef, our cooking master, who's going to be teaching us the cooking knowledge that he wants to share with us today. What's it going to be?
Hello, Youth Unite. I am Logan, and for today's lesson, I'm going to be telling you all about internal cooking temperatures. Specifically, I'll be mostly talking about different meat and protein foods. Now, when it comes to cooking these foods, it is usually pretty key to get the internal temperatures right. If it's too raw, it could lead to potential food poisonings from different bacteria or parasites. If it's too cooked, then it means that the meat can be tough or dry. So it's pretty important to get that right, and remembering a whole lot of different cooking temperatures for different meats can be a little hard, so I'll be consolidating it all in this single lesson. So before I go over some exact temperatures, I will talk about a neat little tool that'll make taking the temperatures of meats a whole lot easier. And what it is this thing. These are referred to a temperature probe. This one was part of my Humber toolkit. And so basically what it is it's basically just a thermometer. It has this little sheath here, and you can just pull it, and it has this needle, here, and this needle acts as a sort of thermometer. Basically, what you want to do is you want to take this needle and you want to insert it into the thickest part of the meat or whichever your thing that you're trying to read the temperature of. You want to hit it at its thickest part because that will be where it is the coldest, and therefore accurately represents what the internal temperature will be. And so if you hit that cold part, and if you hit that coldest part and it registers the correct temperature, then that's how you know that the internal temperature will be exactly what it wants. So yeah, if you have the money, then you should really go for one of these. It's a very useful tool. So next I'll be going over a select few meats and other protein products, and I'll be talking about what the ideal internal temperatures are. Now, first up, I'll go over beef, veal, and lamb, and these are all categorized as red meats. And so unlike some of the other meats that we'll talk about, these things don't have to be cooked like all the way completely through. Red meats should be cooked to at least a temperature of 145 degrees Fahrenheit, and then again, it is much easier to determine when you hit that temperature with one of these. So yeah, I would say that red meats, ideally 145, which would be like a medium rare on a steak. But yeah, that is at the very least like the bare minimum that it should reach. Of course, if you prefer these meats like well done, you could aim for much higher, like 165, which would be well done. Now the next meat that I'll go over is pork. Now pork is not a red meat, but recent studies show that pork can be probably cooked a lot lower than what was pretty standard around the time, around like a couple decades ago. Back then, it was considered by the government that pork had to be cooked to around 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which is well done. But there is some evidence that suggests that pork can be cooked a little bit lower at like 145, and the results will be a lot juicier, far less dry if you cook it that long. Next up, we have chicken and other poultry. Now, chicken is a very huge carrier of the salmonella bacteria, and because of that, it always must be cooked to 165 degrees or well done. Now, when it comes to other poultry alternatives, one of the exceptions to this would be the breast meat of duck and other waterfowl. Now, because waterfowl are like very different from chickens in that they like mostly hang around the water. Their muscular structure actually has a lot of myoglobin compared to say chicken, and because of that, its breast meat is actually considered a red meat in the similar vein to like beef or lamb, and therefore that section of the duck can actually be cooked at like medium rare 145. Now the thigh meat, on the other hand, is just like a chicken, and because of that, it has to be cooked to 165. Lastly, now next up, I'll be talking about ground meat, and this is just a general rule for all ground meat, but it has to be cooked to at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit internally if you're making like something like a meatloaf or burger patties. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what if I use a red meat like beef that is ground up? Can I like cook it to medium rare? Because a steak would be safe to eat medium rare, and actually, it's been a little bit of a subject of debate, but the general answer is no. It must be cooked to well done, 165. Now we'll go over the reason for that. The reason why a steak would be safe to eat at like medium rare is because most of the harmful bacteria that's in a steak that needs to be heated to release is actually located on the surface of the steak when it oxidizes. And as such, if you simply cook the surface, then the meat inside, even if it's medium or medium rare, would still be safe to eat. However, when you grind the meat into, well, ground meat, then you're effectively mixing that surface into the interior of that meat. And at that point, it would no longer be safe to cook to medium rare. So yeah, ground meat always cooked well done, even if you're using a red meat. Now the next protein that I'll talk about are eggs. Now eggs are usually pretty easy to cook. You simply just cook them in like a pan or whatever medium you choose until they're firm and no longer opaque looking, the whites specifically. Now when it comes to certain egg dishes, like say a quiche or a frittata or like a baked custard, you should aim for a temperature around 160 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be the most ideal. Now, next thing I'll talk about is fish. Now, fish can be cooked to around medium rare at 145 degrees Fahrenheit, a little bit less than, say, poultry. Probably a more easier way, you don't really have to use a thermometer. And in fact, the thermometer can be very delicate to fish. And so probably one of the easier ways to tell when your fish is fully cooked is to actually just take a fork and just jab it into it a little bit. And if the flesh flakes when it's separated, there's a good sign that your fish is fully cooked. Next up, I will be talking about some more seafood. I'll be talking about crustaceans specifically, stuff like shrimp, lobster, and crabs. Now, because of their hard shells, you can't really use this to determine their temperatures. So, one of the best ways to determine when something like a lobster is fully cooked is to use what is referred to as the 5 to 6 minute rule. And basically what this rule is that for every pound that say your lobster weighs, you should boil it for 5 to 6 minutes. And so for example, if you have like a 2-pound lobster, then you should boil it for around 10 to 12 minutes according to its pounds. The next and final seafood that I'll go over are shellfish, stuff like clams, mussels, and oysters. And this one's pretty easy. All you really have to do is just steam the shellfish until their shells open. Now the reason why you do this is because there is this little muscle that's inside the shellfish. I believe it's called the abductor muscle. And basically, this muscle helps to keep the shells closed. And however, when you cook the shellfish and when it's at its ideal temperature, the abductor muscle, when cooked, will no longer be able to support the shell and keep it closed, and therefore the shell will then open. And so that is how you know that your shellfish is then therefore fully cooked. The last thing that I'll go over for today are casseroles and leftovers, stuff that's already been cooked in the past. And a general good rule of practice is to simply reheat those to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, in the case of some meats, such as beef, pork, chicken, one thing you should do is once it reaches the temperature that you want, well, actually, once it goes a little bit below the temperature, once it actually reaches a little bit below the ideal temperature that you want, it's probably a good idea to take it off the heat and to give it a little bit of a resting period. Now, a resting period is basically just a period of time where you take your meat off of the heat and you just let it sit there for a general good amount of time. For a resting period is like 5 minutes before you cut it into it. And if you cut into a piece of meat before its resting period is complete, you'll find that it's probably a lot less evenly cooked. You'll find that like something for like a steak, like there will be a noticeable gray band around and the inside will be very red. And so the reason why a resting period is good is because it essentially allows the temperature of the piece of meat to equalize all throughout. And so because the surface of the meat is a lot hotter than the insides, and the temperature will be drawn down into the inside of the meat, and that will finish its cooking process. and will raise it back up to the ideal temperature that you want it to be. So yeah, always rest your meats whenever you're cooking. Do not slice into it immediately after you're done. Give it a little bit of time to equalize in temperature. So anyway, that just about does it for the lesson for this week. Thank you all for listening in, and back to you, Aiden.
So we learned about thermometers, and we learned that thermometer temperature is very, very important, like for chicken, for fish, for so many different types of things. I definitely have seen my sister use a thermometer for a lot of different types of things, and I've seen a lot of pro chefs use this something called a pro temp spike to learn how to cook their meat exactly to the right temperature. So we can definitely know that it is very, very important to have a thermometer. Thank you so much, Logan. I appreciate all of the cooking knowledge, and I'm so excited what you're going to share with us next week. All right, let's keep the train moving because we got to keep it moving. Next up is going to be our Super Ability Community News. If you guys know, we always have to have our community news every once in a while, and it is on week next week for our Super Ability crew members. From Monday to Friday at 9:30, we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to be starting the day off with a program called Story Time Sunrise. This is a morning gathering where all the crew join online to listen to a story and afterwards participate in a thoughtful discussion. It is designed specifically for the Super Ability crew, and this reading fosters connection, imagination, positivity. Honestly, it's a great way to start your day with a great book and a supportive community. At 11 o'clock for all of our events, we guys always have a 9:30 and a 11 o'clock. On Monday, it's all going to be about science exploration. So if you were excited for science, I definitely love a little bit of science every once in a while. And we're going to be discovering the forces between our planet's climate and how it impacts life everywhere. Tuesday is baking with Miss Jenna. Get ready to mix, bake, and have fun, but most importantly, taste something delicious. Miss Jenna is going to be cooking you up something amazing, so don't forget to grab your aprons and join in on the fun. Wednesday is relaxation with animals, more importantly, aquatic animals. Unwind and relax as we explore the soothing world of aquatic animals, from dolphins to sea turtles. Oh my gosh, we were just talking about sea turtles. Enjoy a calming session focused on the people, creatures of the sea. On Thursday is our virtual field trip. If you can't sometimes make it to let's say, how about this? Sometimes you don't have the money to go to a specific place. Well, what better way of having a field trip than a virtual field trip? We will be taking a virtual journey to the majestic Taj Mahal in Agra, India, and we'll be experiencing the history, beauty, and cultural significance of this world wonder. Remember, guys, there are 7 wonders of the world, and the Taj Mahal is one of them. Or sorry, I think it's 8 wonders of the world. I think I'm getting my numbers mixed up. I'm just going to keep it moving. And Friday, we have our trivia and general knowledge. You must test your knowledge out of Monday through Thursday by learning all about some fun trivia questions based off of this week's information. So I hope that you're here from Monday to Friday, or else you might not know some of the Friday questions. Oh boy. Anyways, though, this has been your community news. And next up, our final cherry on top. Next up, we have Jeff or Jeffrey with some live music.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jeffrey, your live musician, here to bring some music to you. And what do I have for you today? I'm playing one of my original songs called "Through the Darkness." Hope you like it. No matter how dark today is, tomorrow will captured alive. Not for a minute, an hour or a day. Let it be no second to become ground. Not the sun and swallow your anger. Not who you are or how dark. The past is today, say no. Turn off the sorrow, just let it go. Release the pain, say no. Turn again. Hold on to my hand and then we fight together through the pain. Keep lights up, bright colored rain. All it takes a little flashing. All it takes a little flash to dope and dash of happiness. Against the firelight through the darkness. By not knowing and make things right. We need to work together, hold on so tight. No matter where you are, it's just you and me and everyone else. Put out the sorrow and swallow your anger. No matter who you are or how dark your past is today, say no. Just remember to let it go. Release the pain, say no. Turn off the sorrow, just let it go. It's time to stand up again. Hold on to my hand and we'll fight together through the pain. Drop lights up, break the later end. No matter how dark today is, tomorrow you can see the light. It's not for another an hour a day. Maybe not a second to be gone by. Without the sorrow, just swallow your anger. No matter young or how dark your past is today, say no. Turn off the sorrow, just let it go. Release the pain, say no. Turn off the sorrow, just let it go. It's time to start up again. Hold on to my hand. We'll fight together through the pain. Right. The lights are bright and glittering. All it takes is a little flash and open dash of happiness. Glimpse of a light with the darkness. Find the road and make things right. We need to go together, holding on so tight. No matter where you go, it's just you and me and everyone. No matter where you are, it's just you and me and everyone else. No matter where you are, it's just you and me and everyone else. Drop your sorrow and swallow your anger. No matter young or how dark your past is today, say no to a happy sorrow, just let it go. Will it stop pain? Say no. Can't help the sorrow, just let it go. It's time to spin up again. My hand, we fall together through the pain. The planets of reckoning. The planets of reckoning. It's time to start again. Hold on to my hand, and we fall together through the pain. The planets of reckoning. It's like the planets of reckoning. The planets of reckoning. Oh, the planets of reckoning. Oh, the planets of reckoning. Nothing we can stand up again. Hold on to my hand. We fall together through the pain. The planets of reckoning. The planets of reckoning. Hey everybody, this is Jeff, your live musician. I'll see you all next week. Make sure to check out my website, jeffrankman.com. Anyways, back to Aiden.
All right. Oh, wait. All right, guys. Sorry, my camera died, so I am going to be doing this in the dark. But as Jeffrey said, let's bring the world together one song at a time, and let's join hands and celebrate. Oh, I'm back. All right, guys. I hope that you enjoyed Jeffrey's music. I definitely did, and the chat is absolutely loving it. This is the end of our Youth Connect. If you did like Youth Connect, I need you to do 3 things for me. I need you to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to click the
Don't forget to click the
notification bell.
notification bell.
Yeah, that's 4. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Do something fun. And we will catch you all next week. Happy Friday, guys, and catch you later. Bye.